Hey you guys, welcome back to the channel, and today we are back on the front, and for today's episode we are going to go over the battery system and how to use it as a true battery backup, and to get the wiring set up correctly so that everything functions the way a backup system would as far as this game's concerned. And also take a look at my automatic doors. I've kind of reconfigured those a little bit to where they make a little bit more sense, and I have the both going in and out of the doors functioning off of the same circuit. So I'm going to show you that, and I think I don't know if I actually, to be honest, I don't know if I'm going to get into this today. I probably will say this for its own episode, but I do have the remote wireless trigger system working also, and so that's kind of something in the game that I haven't really seen anybody cover in any other videos. I haven't really seen any information, so it really took a couple of days to kind of figure out how that thing works. But there's the antenna to it, and I have another antenna over here, and then I got one in the back, and then one's down in this area over here, and they all kind of control doors and things like that independently, and I can do it remotely, and I can actually choose when they open and when they don't. So in this case, just to give you a quick explanation, what I'm doing is I have a door open here to the maze, and then I can actually divert all the traffic to bypass the maze and go out that door at the click of a button, basically when I want. And then I can close that door and then have them go back through the 5-story maze springboard launch system, or whatever you want to call it. And then I can actually alter the maze, so I can have and choose so that they can go through this part of the maze and go up this way, or I can actually shut that, and then this door over here, there's actually a door over there, you can't really see it, but will automatically open and then send them through the original maze through this way, and then they'll go upstairs and then through all of the crazy meat grinders over there. So that is something that I probably will cover in the next video, so keep a lookout for that one to kind of see how I have all that hooked up. But for today we're going to go over the batteries, and we'll go check that out and take a look at that right now. And then also real quick on these meat grinders, someone was asking me that you can't place these spikes down over the meat grinders, and I mean you can't place the meat grinders over the spikes, and that's true, you can't actually do that. But if you put the meat grinder down first, for some reason you can put the spikes down, and I don't know if that works on the PvP side. I think the person was referring to the PvP servers, but I think if you put the meat grinders down first, then you can put these spike traps over top of them. But if you do it the other way around, it's not going to work. So, and then also, instead of the spike traps, you can use bear traps and put them in between the blades here. So just a little note on that. But let's go check out the battery system over here, and just to show you guys, this is like my test rig of everything. So this is kind of how I go through and test all of the wiring and trying to figure out what does what. So you can see I have an antenna over here, and a pad and power distribution blocks and breakers and timers and all kinds of stuff. So that is what I kind of built that little panel so I could test things, and it seems to work pretty good. So if you remember from the previous episode, this whole section has been reworked. I moved all the generators over to this new setup that I like much better. It's a little bit more organized, and they're also a little bit more protected. So if an enemy gets up here, then they'll more likely attack the tungsten walls rather than the generators. But if they do happen to attack the generators, then I have this whole setup working in a way that now these 6 batteries will actually power on automatically and start powering the whole grid over here. So let's kind of dive into this and just see what I'm talking about, and I'll explain as I go. So I have a couple of breaker switches here that we can use to power off the grid. So right now the grid is not powered, or the maze is not powered right now, and so that kills the power to everything. And then I have another switch here that kills the powers to the generators. Okay, so what happens if, say, the generators die and the power stops? So let's switch over to our electric tool device here, our pair of pliers. and we can see how the power is now routed. So the power comes out of the generators here, they go into the expanded coupler here, which basically just takes all the power from these devices and merges it into one power line for us to use. And we have about 19 power. So these all produce about, I think it's 240 units of power, and that combined creates the 1919. It's actually 1920, but these little devices take one power. So you can see over on the right, or underneath where it says expanded coupler in red, it says requires one power. So these will always draw one power, and I think that's part of why that it will throw you into that open circuit loop thing that kind of causes an issue, or maybe it's a close, I don't really know, but it's a loop, and it won't allow you to loop the power within these things, because these require power now too. I don't seem to remember that was a thing before in the past. So this sends power out of this coupler, and then it goes into one line to our switch. And then this is basically just a pass through. I just have this as a kill switch to those, but basically through the power, or through this switch and from the generators, we have the power coming in, and we have all 19 power. Each one of these devices I think uses like a piece of power, so it'll go down like 1 point for everything. Yes, that's 1917, that's 1918, and then that's 1919 over there. So we have the power coming through, and it's just straight through this thing. It goes into a splitter, which basically just continues to send power straight out into this coupler, okay? And then into the coupler goes this straight into the power grid, okay? So that's basically how that works right there. So we can turn that on, and now all the power, you can see it's all lit up, goes through the power grid, and then through that switch, and then over to there, or through this coupler thing, and then through the rest of the power grid. If you notice over here, though, as soon as we hit this first splitter, it actually splits the power over to this NOT gate. And the NOT gate basically is what we use to switch power from our generators and then over to the batteries, and then vice versa. So what happens is the power's coming in here, and as long as power is being received into this red NOT gate, then everything will function through the generators and just pass straight through and power the grid. However, if power does not make it to this red box, and the box is like, hey, I'm not getting power on this yellow signal input, then it says, okay, we're going to switch over to the secondary input, which is this red indicator here, and we're going to draw power from that, and then we're going to pass that power through the signal output, and then that's going to go into this coupler, which is the same coupler that the generators are going into, and then feed into the power grid. Okay, so the way that works is, and we can kind of show it, and this basically what's happening here is the power from these batteries are all coming out and merging into another like a 10 port coupler, and then the combined power of those comes out and then goes into this red side. But because this red device, the NOT gate, is actually receiving power right now, it's not switched over. Even though it's got power coming into both sides, it's not passing the power through. And so the way this is going to work is, and we can see actually we have about 3,000 units of power, because each battery provides 500 units of power, and in -1. So it says 2,999 because this thing takes up 1 unit of power. So let's turn the generators off and we'll see what happens. So we turn this off, and then you can see now that there's no more power coming straight from the generators. It's stopped. It's not coming through and going straight out anymore. It has now been bypassed from the batteries through the coupler here into this other input source. But because this NOT gate is not receiving power from its input over here, then it's saying, all right, we're going to switch to the side that has power, and we're going to pass it through back into this coupler and then on to the rest of the grid. And that's how that works. And so it'll show you right now we have 2,998 units of power coming available, and the batteries are drawing 1,535 units of power from the entire maze grid over here. And that's not that might be all of, I can't remember if I have all of it running off of this thing or not. I think I do now. So yeah, so that would be the whole maze is basically using 1500 units of power. And then as soon as the generators kick back on, so say they ran out of gas or something, and you're like, crap, I gotta go get gas. My batteries took over to keep us protected. You go make some gas and then come back and you fill it back up. It turns the generators back on, and now the power switches right back on, and now the batteries are stopped and they no longer are providing power to the grid. So that's all great, and that now has the capability of powering our grid and backing it up in case the generators either run out of gas and or someone attacks them or whatever. And you can hide the batteries under floors, and you can do all kinds of stuff so that you can kind of protect how they function and keep them as a battery, you know. So as long as you're like hiding this stuff under a floor or whatever, no one can come in and actually like destroy your wires. You can't really do that as a secondary player or even as a bad NPC or whatever that comes in and attacks things. They have to destroy the actual device to break the connection. So if you have all of this underground or somewhere that's really, you know, well protected, then the battery backup system will really help you out, and you can have these out in the open so that people can continue to add fuel to them and even use them as like kind of like a distraction. Maybe people, you know, will come and, you know, blow up your generators thinking that it's safe to come in and, you know, and they'll disable all your weapons and guns and turrets and all that stuff, but you'll have your battery backup kick in. Now there's the other issue of actually charging these batteries. So this was the issue that I had before, and let's get the sunlight back up, by the way. So we're going to hit set time to 9 a.m. and still foggy out though, kind of crazy. But I do like that they've added this dynamic weather, you know, system now where it's a little bit kind of, you know, I don't know if it's more realistic, but it's just different and I like it. So yeah, so now we have to charge these batteries. And so before, what I was doing is I was actually pulling a charge off of the generators because, you know, our system's only drawing 1500 units of power, and we still had, you know, a good 5, 6, whatever much 100 powers or whatever, like 500 units of power left over to charge our batteries. Or even if I had another generator that was just separate sitting off to the side charging our batteries, when I hooked it up, it would put us into this, you know, loop that you guys may have run into where it causes this like crazy loop thing. I can't remember what they call it, what it's actually, what the message says. So, but you'll see it's something about, you know, loop, and you can't loop the batteries through the system, and it won't work, and it won't allow you to connect it. So to kind of circumvent that and get past all of those issues, I don't even use generators anymore. I have now wired up these wind towers, and I've actually placed them up high. I did have them down here, and they are making between 30 to 45 units of power, and now up there they make a maximum of 75. But if, let's see, I can actually click on that, but see, now they're making, why does it, oh no, why does that say large titanium battery cluster? That's weird. Why does it say that? I guess that's what it's going to or whatever. But if I was up there to actually be able to click on the thing, I think it'll tell us. Yeah, here we go. So it says 75 power right now is the max, and we're at 48. So sometimes it will be at like 65. That says 48. I don't know. It kind of fluctuates quite a bit, I find. So, but over here they were doing like between 15 to 35, and just wasn't enough to actually be doing anything. So I went ahead and moved them up higher, and that seemed to have made a bit, oh crap, that seemed to have made a bit of difference to the output. It's still not a ton, but we don't really need a ton. And over here I put them up on top of this. So I think the weather system has a little bit to do with this, because in a rainstorm and stuff, these things are like at 65. And so maybe when the weather system comes through, this one's at, well, it said 55 for a second. But yeah, I don't know, it's kind of weird. But at any rate, I have these two also connected to the batteries. So we have 6 batteries, and we have 4 wind turbines over here, and 2 more over here, and then 1 extra that I don't even think I have connected yet. Yeah, I don't. So what those are doing is each one, we have one turbine per battery. That way it takes it out of that loop issue. And so these turbines, while your gas is running, are just filling up the battery. And you can see that this battery is maxed out. This one is getting charged right now. It has what is that? 8,000, 80,000? No, that's 800,000. Okay, 800,000 units of power, and it's filling back up. And this one has 800, and then this one is about the same. So yeah, these two have pulled some power. So as soon as this grid, kicked off, and we, turned the generators off, and now this thing automatically switches over, and now we're drawing from the batteries, and you can actually see what the output is. So this one's showing no output coming out of this battery, and this one is showing the full 500 is coming out of this battery, and then that one's showing 37. And then we probably have another one. That one is 500, and this one will be 500 too, probably, right? Yeah, that one's 500 also. So that's 1500 plus 35, which would equal plus 1. That'd be 1530. What was it? 35? Yeah. So it'd be like 115. Well, I can't even do math right now. So 1534, I guess, is what the system's going to draw. Yeah, look at that. So right there, 1534 is what our draw power is, while we have 3000 available, and it's basically pulling 500 out of a max battery and only 35 out of one of these other ones here, right here, 37. So that kind of shows you how that works. If a battery runs out, then it will just start pulling from another battery that's full. And then once the generators kick back on, those batteries will start slowly recharging again. And if we had more things, we hook up more stuff, and it requires another 500 units of power, then it'll start drawing from one of these other batteries that is not maxed out yet. So that's how that works. So I think that kind of covers it. I don't know. You guys leave some comments below if you're confused on any of this stuff. Let me know what you think, and if you think this is a good solution to this. But right now it works pretty good. So this kicks on, and then that works. And this would be good because when I got into that super base attack where I pretty much had my entire base destroyed because it was made out of wood, the NPCs characters came in and destroyed all of my power banks and stuff. So if I would have had those better protected and they took out like only half of it, then the other half would have continued to run and kept my maze going. But because of the way I had it wired, it shut down everything. So this way I have two separate units of power or power systems running, and if one dies, then the other one will stay running. Now I have them all right next to each other. I don't really I'm not going to get attacked by any PvP players or anything, but this if I was to do this in a PvP map, I would probably put these under the floor somewhere and really guard it up, and then I'd put these out in the open so that we can easily put gas to them and make sure that we're able to get to these. And then if someone came in and destroyed this, then this system would automatically kick over, and you could put all of this right here under the ground next to the batteries, and that way it would be protected by whatever you put around it. So hope that makes sense. Just kind of wanted to go over that in detail because I've been spending a lot of time trying to figure out a good way to make sense of the battery and using these and or not gates, because they have a few different ones, and you can actually use them to do other things, like say if power was coming in from here and power from over here, you could make it do something, have a switch to do something else. Or you could use the OR gate, and it could be an and or situation, and you could probably use an OR gate here, whereas if power was coming in this way or something else, or I don't know, you could probably make use of that. But I think this is the simplest solution, is just using the NOT gate. I think it's the most versatile setup, most versatile gate, I guess. And then we have over here, we have the little laser beam. So this turns our emergency lights on. This lets us know that we have a enemy inside of our, whatever this thing is, the space beacon thing. And so this will let us know that we have somebody in there, and it will stay on for 10 seconds. So 1, 0, and then it'll go off. And I have noticed that since I've added more electric components and things like that, that the system is a little bit laggier. So things do not, I just crossed the beam and things do not come on as quick as they normally do, which is weird. I should have kicked on, but yeah. So I don't know. Maybe that'll get fixed and it'll be a little bit more responsive, because I am running pretty good on the FPSs. I'm between, you know, I'm around 60, 59, 60 frames a second, something like that. So yeah, so if we come over here and look at the doors, let's go over the doors real quick. And I've covered this before in another video, kind of automating the doors, but I've changed it up a little bit, and just to show you guys what I did here. So, and this looks a little bit more crazy. It's hard to get these wires lined up right, because I'm like wiring them up from like this angle or something, and it will look straight to me or something. And then when I get back in front of it, I'm like, oh, it's all at a weird angle. And I guess it's just kind of how the perspective is when you're wiring things up. So yeah, so you can see the doors open up as soon as I cross this beam. This is essentially the same system setup that I have for the warning lights on the other side, and so they will stay open for 10 seconds and, you know, allow you to go through the door and come back out. And I have another sensor over here, so this is another infrared sensor that will open the doors also, and that's the change that I made. And you can see that it's a little bit more simple. And you come over here, you can actually just hold down the F key, click on this little rotating thing that means turn it around, but it won't turn around. It actually brings up a time duration thing, and you can set the time on this. So I just had it at 10, but probably like 5 seconds is, you know, 3 to 5 seconds is probably the best. So that way it doesn't stay open, you know, all day on you. And another little thing that I did, because you can have some of the, you know, when you run the raid system, you can have like some of the NPC characters come across and cross this beam and open the doors, and when they open the doors, they'll come on inside. So you have to be, you know, cautious about that. And one of the things that I did to, I guess, deal with that issue is, if anybody comes up here that's not me, these are actually the trap flippy doors. So as soon as they come up here, they're going to fall through, and they'll actually get stuck at this wall for a second, so they will have to fall through. And when they do, they'll go down here, and this actually joins back into the maze. I added some flamethrowers right here, but I haven't hooked them up yet. And this is for, like, for some reason I get the ravens and they all stack up in this one corner. I don't know why that is, but I put flamethrowers here to see if I can deal with them, and I'm not sure if they're going to shoot through the other side of this rail or not. So this is a test, but anyway, so basically they'll fall through the trapdoors, they'll come around, and then they'll come through this area here, and then over here they enter back into the maze system, and then their only option is to go up to the meat grinders, or if they go what I call the shortcut. If they can make it to the shortcut, which is right here, literally, they get cut, and if they make it here, it's a straight path. Even though I got spiky traps, for the most part, it's simple straight way to the beacon, and it's easy peasy for them. However, there is a trap door right here that's very responsive, and they'll fall down here into a trap, and then they'll get double whammied by the electric shock gates here, or not gates, but traps. And so they don't really make it out of here very easily. And for whatever reason, I had to replace this one foundation with a titanium foundation, because when they fall down, they start attacking this foundation just like instantly. I don't know why. And so it was wearing down the foundation. So so I just went ahead and made it out of the titanium so that it lasts a little longer. And so far it's worked perfect. So we come back over here to this. Let's show you how this works. Let me do something here. Okay. So we have power that's coming in. I just have it coming in off the lights. There's actually a splitter right there. And then I have power coming down, and it powers the infrared sensor. And then from the infrared sensor, we have running power directly to the timer. So we've added a timer into the circuit now. And so it's just powering the timer. And then from the timer, we have another power lead. And this is just straight through power. So you can either send it from a splitter, or you can just, daisy chain the power off of each little device, because each device has a input and output power, but it's just straight through. So it's just one way to keep powering devices in the chain, so to speak. So we have the power coming out of the infrared thing into the timer, and then it comes out of the green area, green little node, out over here and it goes into a NOT gate. And so the way this is working is, and it's kind of weird that it's set up like this, but the doors, when they receive power, they stay closed. They don't like stay open, and they don't have a switch on them. So you either have to put a switch or you have to use like an infrared sensor switch or something. Yeah, some kind of switch in the line. And you can't put a switch on the wall. Like I may have one in here. I don't know if I do or not. I don't think I do. But there is actually a push button switch. I just don't like it because you have to actually run up and push it, and you can do the same thing with the walls or whatever, or the doors, but with not even having them powered. So there's no point in having that push button switch so far. So, all right, I'm getting distracted. So back to the timer. All right, so we have the timer in place. Everything's being powered. We have the NOT gate. Everything's being powered from there. And then out of the infrared, we have a signal wire, and that signal will come up, and then it will go into, oh no, yeah, all right. So where do we have the signal wire going? Oh yeah, okay. I'm sorry, I got lost for a second. It's crazy when you start wiring all this stuff up, my eyes start crossing over. So yeah, so the signal wire is coming out, and basically it just, if you just want one sensor, it just goes right into the signal input of the timer. However, I have another coupler here, and so I have the signal wire going into the coupler, which passes it down to one wire and then into the signal side of the timer. The reason why I have it like that is because I also have the other side. So over here, I have another sensor, and this is all powered up, and then it just has one lead of power coming in, and then it has a sensor line coming out. So this output sensor is now, when I trigger it, see it lights up, and then it basically goes under, and it comes over here, and you can kind of see when I cross the line, it sends power there, which sends it to there, and then vice versa. So this one sends power to the same coupler, and that way you can have, you know, I could have 3 different infrared sensors that open up this door, you know, by providing the sensor signal to this one coupler. You know, I could put in a 10 node coupler and it would still do the same thing. But basically all it does is just merge everything down to one wire, and then that one signal or one wire signal will come over here and activate the timer. And so when it activates the timer, we can see there's a countdown that happens. The doors stay open for 5 seconds, and then it shoots over. And the way that that's working, and the reason why it's working, is because right now there is no signal coming from this line because I haven't crossed it. So as soon as I cross that line, it shoots a signal through here, through this coupler, out to the timer box, and then the timer box says, okay, I have a signal, and I'm going to start my countdown from 5 seconds. And if let's go ahead and change this to, let's change it to 15 seconds. So now it's sending a signal out from, you know, to this line here for 15 seconds. And then as that's happening, the power is now passing through onto this other side and shooting a signal out to the doors to open up the doors. So I hope that makes sense, right? Because this is a NOT gate. If you remember before on the batteries, if it's not receiving a signal from this side here, this signal input side, when it's not doing that, it shifts power to come in, or another signal over to the right side, you know, or to this red node on this side of the switch. And so since this node has constant power coming out, and for whatever reason it doesn't show, I mean, I don't know why. Some of the things, you know, when you use the connectors and things, some show the path of the electricity and some don't. And the devs are slowly fixing that. Like every time they make an update, one of these things gets fixed. So holy cow, there's a big old jet flying over. I don't know if you guys can hear that or not, but so yeah, so we have the power coming out of this deal here. It goes into the red side, and it's not delivering any power to the gate to tell it to open. So this would come out of here and go to the signal side of the door or gate or whatever you want to call that. So we have the NOT gate. So when it's not receiving power, so as soon as I cross a beam, it's going to change all of this to where this side, it will not receive power for 15 seconds. So there we go. Power's been turned off for 15 seconds. We're on our countdown, and now power is flowing out of the outside here, and then you can kind of see it coming through, and then it goes around the other side, and I have it being wired into the input signal here on the gate. So we have another, I know it's getting kind of crazy over here too, but because I have two gates, I went ahead and set up the signal wires to go into another coupler, which then go into a splitter. So from the splitter, basically it will run that same signal for 15 seconds into each door, so they each open, you know, roughly at the same time. One's kind of lags behind a little bit, and so that shows me that each device has a slight lag time to it. Now, I don't know if there's a way to fix that or not, but you know, they seem to have an order to how they open and close. But yeah, so I just have this here is just so that I could run other signals into it and open up these gates or whatever. It's just kind of a secondary, you know, thing to manage signals. And the same thing over here, I have a power distribution block just to power things on this side of the house over here, or whatever, the base. But yeah, so that's how that opens, and then it keeps it real simple. So now this sensor here is very minimal. It only has the input and the signal output, and then I have everything being shared on this side, and then it all runs into and controlled by one circuit. So we have both the in and the out of the circuit all being ran together. And so that will, I'll turn on the sun again. So that just kind of keeps things simple and allows us to do one circuit. Now, just one thing to note, I should probably have this on the other side of the wall, like over here or something, or just in a different location, and just have the signal wires running. And I'll probably move it. I just kind of have everything here so you guys can see it. But just as a side effect, and just note to yourselves, when you build this stuff outside, you want to put it on the inside, because what happens now, I'm so high on the RAID system over here, the little RAID thing that, you know, that we run, that at level, I think we're at level 55 or 54, I don't remember, but we're almost to I think the max level is 60, so we're almost there. And right now we're getting a lot of rocket guys that come in, and the rocket guys just kind of fire all over the place. They mainly try to fire at me, but I'm bouncing around all over the place sometimes, and they just kind of just shoot wherever. And if they can't find me, then they just start shooting random things. Like they'll blow out a floor on top of the maze, they'll take out one of the towers over here, or they'll just shoot a missile over here and it'll blow up all of this. So like in one shot, you'll lose your whole circuit. So you have to be real careful where you place this stuff, and if it's in the line, you know, of sight of the rocket guys, or even your enemies. If you're on a PvP map, you want to make sure you hide all your circuit things. So like these antennas over here, you want to put those inside of a bunker or something like that. So you don't actually have to have these on the outside. And we'll go over those, and probably in the next episode, I'll probably go over those once I have everything kind of ironed out with these, and I can actually describe what the heck I'm doing, because those are a little bit more complex. But yeah, so that's kind of how this works. I just wanted to show you guys how this battery system works and how we can switch over from the gas power to battery backups instantly, and everything continues to run perfect. They damaged my vehicles up there too. On the last one, man, we had one of those little jumping guys got over there. So that's kind of, you know, the what I wanted to cover in this video. Let me show you guys a couple of other little things, and then I think what we'll do is we'll run a maze deal real quick, do a raid. But if you notice over here, I have a new wall that basically encapsulates the raid bunker thing. And the reason I did that was because they were getting around this thing over here, and they were attacking my vehicles, and they were attacking my helicopter landing pad, and they were basically, and you can still see the damage, that they were attacking the, I don't know why, but they were attacking the pillars that were holding this whole thing up. So, and I still need to replace the wood over here, but yeah, so that's kind of why I put up a wall around that, and I haven't tested it out yet. But yeah, and also this is a pressure plate system, and it's a little bit easier and simpler to set up, and I did cover that in the previous video. So if you want to see how this is done, nothing's really changed with this, and you can check out that video to see how I did all of that. But let's go over here and run a raid and just see what happens. All right, look, I'm gonna make sure I have everything open because we're gonna have them go up the maze. Is that door open over there? Okay, good. It is closed actually. All right. So I did build like a little tower over here to kind of view and watch everything. And we're going to see if we can make it over there, but probably not going to be able to. We'll probably die as soon as we do. So let's see if we can run this now. I need to get all this stuff. I did not claim that yet. So yeah, we're on level 55. And let's run level 55 and see what happens. Here we go. It's going to get loud. Walls, those titanium walls to protect us. And so I can see rocket guys right there already. And then we can see the guys flinging off of the trap system. There they go. And they just get ejected off of the multi-level springboard. Oh my gosh, look at that. That's crazy. So it goes up 5 levels. If they make it to the top, then they will, oh, there's one guy, he's climbing. Then they'll make it onto this other side. Looks like we had one guy make it over there. And then they have to come back down. Holy cow, that thing's loud. That's so... So I'll turn down the volume post when I make these videos, because that thing is just crazy, crazy loud. Whoa, how'd that guy get up there? You get out of there. That's weird. And then the machine gun guys, man, they tear you, they about blow my speakers out. So yeah, we had some guys come through here. So they're just getting catapulted up there. Now let's go over here and see. Yeah, I already got hit. Let's see if we can meet somebody. Try not to die. I'm gonna go up here. Oh, we did get somebody on the side, so they made it over here. We're gonna go all the way up. Oh, no, 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 I just fell off. Dang it. Jeez Louise. Run, run, run. Oh, jeez. To kill me. Alright, yeah, those gun guys, man, they got like super accurate shots. Okay, so we can run over here. Oh my gosh. Alright. Kind of see. I need to bandage up. Do I have anything to bandage with? Yeah, here we go. So let's see if anybody makes it up. We're down to 114 characters left over here. Wow, look at all those guys shooting. I don't know if this thing doesn't work very good. I mean, that should have just demolished all of those guys. There he goes. See you later, man. Wow. Yeah, they're just kicking my butt up here. Alright, let's try right there. Yeah, those gunners. Maybe I can throw some flamethrowers back there or something. Wow, we got so much gunners. Anybody making it up here? Yep, okay, we got that dude. Still got that guy right there. I don't know how that guy's... Oh, jeez. Almost took me out. These are guns over here. These phalanx, I don't know what you call them, but whatever. They're crazy Gatling gun. They fire so fast, but they don't actually use up that much ammo. I think for the amount of sound that they make, they're literally only using like 1 ammo for every 3 visible shots. It's kind of strange. And I think that's why they don't do as much damage also. Get rid of that guy. I'm trying to look around at my thing. So this is not... I can't believe that's not killing that guy. There he goes. Alright, let's get the eat. Alright. Oh, get out of the way. Still got another guy there. Oh gosh. Yeah, those little commando dudes are so tough. All right, we got 5 guys left, and they are over there destroying my stuff. Let's go down. There's a rocket guy right there. So I don't know why they're right there. What are you guys doing, man? So he's just like targeting that thing. And look how much he's being hit. Like that gun is not doing very much damage. See that? Oh gosh. Who's shooting at me now? Oh, that guy. Alright, but yeah, you can see what I'm talking about. Like, that guy, for some reason, yeah. So his health isn't going down super fast. Or as much as that gun is shooting him, he should be dying a lot more. And for whatever reason, that gun is not shooting these guys. I think I have them attacking only the elites. And this is an elite gunner. You're messing up my tungsten. I don't really appreciate it. You're the only guy left, too. So, that's nice. It seems like the wall has really helped contain the, you know, when I have some of these mystery NPC players that disappear, and I've been finding them like stuck underneath my foundations or stuck inside of a window or underneath my vehicles over here or on the other side of the base in the water, you know. So that's why I put this wall up. So this wall, it just basically just kind of keeps them contained, and I gave them enough space to roam around. They can still get to my cars if they really wanted to, but or vehicles over there. But yeah, so it's kind of, I do have a door that helps with that. But so far, so good on that. We lost one little tungsten wall here that I'll have to replace and everything. But so far, it's all working pretty good. All right, well, I think we're going to end the episode here. Let's go see if we got anything interesting out of the beacon over here. Oh, what the heck is that? A stone sickle? I don't think I've ever gotten one of those. That's crazy. Huh. Okay. Well, anyway. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the video with the wiring and the battery backup system, and definitely let me know your thoughts on that, maybe how you would use it, or if you have a different way of configuring the system like that. Let me know your thoughts on all that. And with that, appreciate you guys watching the video, and make sure you like and subscribe and those wonderful things. I really appreciate it. And I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks a lot.